Do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the newest episode of Nuts and Bolts. It's Thursday night, not Friday night, but we just had a schedule release, and let me tell you, I am pumped. And I'm sure every Chargers fan is pumped and has had this day circled on their calendar with Derek Carr's wannabe eyeliner for months. We out here looking for revenge.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
On blue, ready?
Don Coryell.
Hello, history books.
Touchdown, San Diego! Woo!
You're muted. You're muted. We're up.
Let's go. The schedules are released. We already know who you were playing. So all we just know now is the order that we're playing them in and our week one opponent. I'm joined with Tony Tucker. Tony, how are you doing on this Thursday night? Well, Thursday night edition of Nuts and Bolts.
I am doing amazingly. I couldn't be happier. This is exactly the game that I wanted at the beginning of the year, and we'll get into more details on why I wanted this game. As soon as I saw that the Chiefs were in week 2, I was like, okay, we already got one of the games I wanted early. Let's get the other one. We got them back-to-back in a 4-day stretch with the opportunity to go 2-0 in a short period of time. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
I think every football fan, Raiders and Chargers are not in existence, is ready for this game. Every player on the field is going to be ready for this game. Everyone in that crowd that night is going to be ready for that game. The only one person that's not going to be ready for the game is Josh McDaniels. He has had one of the worst starts to a coaching career ever, and it continues with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa and J.C. Jackson and Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. Have fun, buddy. Have fun. Welcome back to head coaching duties.
Every time I turn around, there's something else. The president's getting fired, and then there's this talk about Mark Davis and what about this talk about that. And I was just like, get it together over there. Like, what is wrong with your organization? Like, it's always just being like dragged through the trash.
I also want to point out that on TikTok today, as you guys know, I'm a TikToker, that I saw some Raiders pages talking about the week 1 matchup. It got announced before the whole schedule was released earlier today. And the Chargers social media team was on it. They're on top of everything. Shout out to the Chargers social media team. They posted out a graphic about the Raiders-Chargers week 1 matchup. And I saw all those Raiders TikTokers and fans using that graphic in the green screen. Get your own damn graphic. You didn't work on that graphic. The Chargers family worked on that graphic. Go get your own. Oh, wait. The Raiders social media team sucks. They don't post anything. I haven't seen anything posted today by them.
Yes. And shout out to that kid, young man, I assume, Andrew or whatever. I just found him on Twitter. Should have got his name right. But he is a, anime person, whatever. I don't know, animator, anime. And he created that thing. And it was hilarious. I watched it like twice in a row. I was just like, this is just to make sure I got all the little jabs in there, like make sure they did it. When they got to the Browns one and they get that legal advice thing, I just had to pause to so I could laugh as hard as I possibly could. I was like, this is a great joke. Because you don't know how dirty they wanted to go with that joke, but you know that anything that would have even teetered on the line of where they wanted to go was like, nah, it ain't worth it.
I mean, they went pretty crazy with some other ones, that Kyler deleting the social media post. I mean, I guess this goes into the moral grounds territory where you don't want to really touch it. But there was them giving the Kyler Murray deleting his posts about the Grand Canyon in there. They had AB's bag of helmets in the trash next to the pirate ship. There were so many references thrown in there.
The sad Jaguar sitting in the bar alone was great. How about Pat McAfee on the quarterback carousel one?
I noticed all the references so detailed that when the horses came around as the carousel and they all had their numbers and the color that they wear now, it had the Phillip Rivers horse go by. It didn't have his number. It had a bolo tie hanging from the horse, the Phillip Rivers horse.
That is great.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. All right, Tony, what do you want to do? You want to hop in this? We'll just go game by game, just give our initial thoughts. We don't have to give predictions tonight. We can say predictions. We have a long time for predictions.
Yeah, we do. And I've been compiling some ideas for off-season stuff that's just kind of fun and nonsensical for us to do. But I don't even necessarily know that we need to go game by game. I just want to talk with you and whoever else is in the chat or wants to jump in here, their biggest takeaways. And when I was talking before, the one thing that I was really hoping for was that we would catch the Raiders and the Chiefs before they could get some cohesion in their offense. Because they're bringing in big new parts to the offense, right? Like everybody's like, Derek Carr finally has a wide receiver. Yeah, but he's also got to learn a new system, new verbiage. Devontae Adams and him have to learn new language, and all of that stuff has to get in. So, like, the one constant he'll have is Hunter Renfrow. But when we signed Bryce Callahan, I was like, all right, great. Now we have somebody who's going to stick with him in the slot. Derwin has the ability to get out there and do, like, whatever on Waller and J.C. Jackson on Devontae Adams. Like, in week one, and even in week two, no Tyreek. The Chiefs offense is going to be trying to figure out what works outside of Kelsey, right? Like, that's a short week for them. I believe they're on the road in week one. They come home week two, and then they get the Chargers. So, like, we have the benefit of, like, almost the most cohesion in this division heading in, especially with the offense, right? Like, the defense kind of almost has an advantage. One, because we have a defensive head coach, and then nobody's seen what this is going to look like with all these new components in it and all the new things that he's going to be able to do with all the speed that he added, with the ability to move Derwin James all over the place. You might look up and be like, whereas you're just going to be seeing the number 3 in your nightmares for those first 2 weeks. So that's what I love about getting the Raiders week 1, Chiefs week 2. It couldn't have worked out any better for me in my mind.
That's what I've been talking about with Raiders fans in the comment sections. Everyone keeps talking about it. Devontae Adams is going to burn J.C. Jackson. Well, go ahead, burn J.C. Jackson. We also have Derwin James. You think Derwin James is just not fielding? He's not putting on a uniform next year? He can also lock down Devontae Adams. We have 2 elite man coverage players in our secondary. And trust me, when I talked about all the Chargers fans having this game circled, the Raiders O-line also has this game circled. Much different reasons than the Chargers fans have it circled, because they are going to be up at night thinking about playing a fully healthy Khalil Mack. Mind you, last year, first 6 games of the season, Khalil Mack was looking closer to prime Khalil Mack than we were used to. Early on in the year, he's going to be very good still. Joey Bosa is going to be very good. Both those guys are going to be 100%, and coming off of both edges, whoever, whether it's Colton Miller, they could put anyone they want. They could put God himself at right tackle. They're screwed. They are mismatched there. They have to block Khalil Mack or Joey Bosa in this first game at full strength, full health with one person, because they can't double team on both. I'm pumped, man. This is a great way to showcase our new players to the division with a nice little ass whooping of our old rivals there in SoFi Stadium. It's going to be great. The Raiders fans are already talking about the blackout also. I've already seen that.
Oh, Mike,
do I need to play the video? Do I have the video in here of what happened last time they blacked it out when I was yelling fakers
the
at the
backup offensive lineman coming in there? Joe's like, he's competing for the right tackle spot, and he's on Twitter talking trash. And it's like, okay, so really what you're saying is you guys want to pay for overpriced tickets to come watch get thumped in SoFi? Yeah. Like, is this what you're bragging about? Is that you're going to pay $700 for a ticket to come in there and get the hammer of Thor dropped on your head? This isn't anything to brag about, you idiot. You're out of stimulus checks. This is coming out of your bank account this time. You guys they're getting thumped in week 1. If the season started tomorrow, I would still, I don't know. I'm like jumping out of my shoes. I'm not even wearing any, Mike. Like, I can't wait for that game.
I wish that the season was starting tomorrow. That would be great. I can't wait for it either. The Raiders bring their own new players to the table as well, so I want to see how that's all going to gel and how that's all going to work. Devontae Adams obviously on one side, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones rushing on the other side. That's another thing. Like the same thing I just said about Khalil Mack being healthy, we're going to have to play a healthy Raiders D-line, which they might not have the depth that we have, but that starting lineup is solid for them. So I'm interested to see how it all goes. I'm glad our O-line is pretty much well built, except for Trey Pipkin / Storm Norton / Jamar Slayer / whoever's playing right tackle.
Yeah, slash Filer. I don't know. We'll get into that after. We're gonna get to see. I think rookie minicamp is this weekend, right? So I'm sure there'll be more stuff that we'll get to see of everybody getting in there and getting incorporated. And the other thing that I just like is like when you see them, they put up the videos of them in the weight room and having fun, and that is such a huge part of winning football. Is everybody who's like getting along and everybody's feeling that opportunity and that energy. And it's like when you've been there for a long time, if you listen to Bosa's older press conferences, he always kind of had that mentality that I would like for all Chargers fans to leave in the past of like, oh, we always seem to find a way to lose. You know what I'm like? And I don't feel that from any of them anymore. I didn't feel that from any of them last year. And now when you see how like excited players are about Kyle Van Noy, Kyle Van Noy's best years are behind him, but he can still give you a lot. I mean, it's not as being as excited about JC Jackson or Khalil Mack, but you can be excited about having a savvy veteran that can come in there and work with the Drew Tranquils, right? Kenneth Murray's, OG, like all these other linebackers that are there. So yeah. Chris Rumpf, we need him like to step up as like the edge 3. He's a young guy with all the tools. It's time to put it on him. It's time to go for 8 sacks this year, kid. Let's get a couple forced fumbles. Let's start week 1.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are like, hey, that Van Noy sign doesn't really mean anything. It was definitely an upgrade from our edge rusher 3. It was an upgrade from Kyler Fackrell. And I liked Kyler Fackrell. I liked the way he played and everything. When I went and looked back at the numbers didn't match up with what I thought he did. He also was a little bit injured, but he's definitely an upgrade from Kyler Fackrell as our 3rd edge rusher on the team. 100%. Well,
it just based on experience, savvy, and coaching alone, it's an upgrade, Mike. Yeah. Like it's not even good. What do you mean it's not an upgrade? Yeah. It's easily an upgrade. Yeah.
Let's dig into this. Here's the schedule in full, Chargers fans. You guys want to look at it one more time? I'm sure you've been staring at it all day like us. But what do you think about some of these other games here after that tough start with both tough matchups, I guess you could say, with Vegas and KC? We got Jacksonville, Houston. I'm pretty pumped about that, Tony. What do you think about the little stretch there? Jacksonville, Houston, Cleveland. Cleveland's tougher, obviously. They just got Deshaun Watson in there, but they're probably still going to be having offensive growth going on there in week 5 of the year with the new quarterback. And I'm interested to see how they run that system because this whole thing has been behind the O-line, behind the running backs, and now in one offseason, they're going to try and go to top 5 quarterbacks. You're going to try and throw the ball 75% of the time or something.
So here's the next point I wanted to bring up that I really like. We don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, right? Okay. But 4-6 game suspension, possibly. I know they haven't really talked about it or anything, but I mean, Trevor Bauer just got like a 2-year suspension. The NFL is like, I don't know that they need to do something, but it feels like maybe just for PR reasons they might. Even if they don't, I still like getting them earlier in the season than later in the season. So week 5 is good there. But let's say that is his first start after a 4-game suspension. That's another big victory potentially for scheduling reasons to catch the Browns there as opposed to flipping them out with the Titans or something. I think that's good. I also think that like that first 5 games kind of sets us up nice to be rolling into the road game with the Broncos.
Agreed.
Or that's a home game with the Broncos.
It is.
Right? Yeah. So we come it gives us a chance to be like, hey, you're beating some, because I think the Texans are going to be more competitive than people are giving them credit for. I mean, also maybe I'm a little biased after watching Rex Burkhead put some damage on us last year, and Davis Mills flinging it out there to I don't even remember, Nico Collins or whoever was healthy for them in that game. But yeah, I think it gives us a good opportunity to head into that Broncos game on Monday night feeling really good and a lot of hype, a lot, like getting some attention on major media outlets.
Don't bring up that Ravens-Raiders game. I'm trying to forget that game ever happened. Van Noy.
What? Hang on. Here they are. What are you talking about? The Ravens were 8-3 before the Lamar Jackson injury. They had a reason to have a little arrogance. Like,
he's talking about going into week 1 when the worst game in NFL history was played between the Ravens and the Raiders, where both teams looked like they intentionally tried to lose. I was ready to accuse somebody of tanking after watching that nonsense. 4 turnovers in overtime. One time the Raiders won 4 straight plays on the 1 yard line and didn't score. I was getting so mad.
Yeah, that was a slop fest. It was kind of fun though for a Monday Night Football game.
It was. Ask Joe how it went last time the Raiders fans tried to black out the stadium. He was there in person. Anyways, back to the schedule here. That's the first part of it. That Denver game obviously is going to be a lot of fun. We're looking for that one to see Russ for the first time in a Denver uniform. Here's something I wanted to note, this part of the schedule. I haven't been able to look at the schedule too much, but this part jumped out immediately to me. Let's say the Chargers win. Let's say we're 5-1. Is that too optimistic? Let's say 4-2, 5-1, somewhere in there. I think that's what we can kind of guess here out of these first 6 games. And then we go to Seattle, bye week, Atlanta, San Fran. I feel like the Chargers should win all 3 of those games. But last year I did this. I made this mistake after the bye week, looking at the schedule, saying Chargers are going to come out strong out of this bye. They have to, after the Seattle game is over, immediately start preaching. We cannot let off the gas, because it seems like last year the Chargers were red hot. Had that bye week, let off the gas a little bit, got very inconsistent in those random games we lost to the Vikings, to the Patriots, to the Texans. And I'm okay with the Patriots loss here and there, or you drop one to the Vikings, but you can't lose all 3 like that right after the bye.
Yeah,
there was a stretch there where I think we were 2-3 or something in a 5-game stretch, and we had lost 3 games that I still believe we should have won. Whether the offense couldn't put up more than 24 against New England, we lose 27-24. Minnesota couldn't stop Justin Jefferson to save our damn lives, even though we were down a few DBs. You shouldn't let one player do that to you. That is just losing focus, coasting through the bye, and then coming out of it kind of slow. We cannot do that this year, because those games that are marked as W's on our schedules, those games that will put us in the number 1 seed, is beating Jacksonville, the Texans, Seattle, Atlanta, San Francisco, Miami, and the Raiders twice. I mean, those games that we should win, we should win. We cannot do this again next year. I cannot be sitting in a 27-24 and we're sending out, Joe Smo kicker out to kick a game-winning field goal against the Philadelphia freaking Eagles. We can't do that this upcoming season. The stars are too stacked on our roster. We can't do it again. So that's something that I noticed again this year, right around our bye week. We have games that I feel like we should win, especially in a tough schedule. I heard people talking about a cupcake schedule for the Denver Broncos. Newsflash, if you're a fan of an AFC team this year, no cupcake schedules. We got to win those games. Tony, what do you think about that stretch up until the second KC matchup?
I really agree with you. I think it is a chance to stack some wins. And you cannot underestimate the importance of taking care of those games, right? Like, that is what kept the Patriots on top for so long, is because they dominated the bad teams. They would rarely lose. Every once in a while, they would go down to Miami at the end of the year and it would be humid and they'd get trounced or whatever. They couldn't hang in the humidity or something. But like, they would take care of the Jets and the Bills and whatever other weak AFC teams would come their way, and they would still find ways to win the big ones. So you have to not only find a way to win the occasional big games, but then you also cannot be losing to teams that are going to be drafting in the top 7 or 8 picks of the next year. And there's a real chance to compile wins, just like we did the same thing last year. Even after the bye, Mike, when we had that bad stretch, we still had that Thursday night football game against KC that we should have won, and that would have been for the division lead. And I believe that is when the season really went. It was just like, okay, this isn't a Super Bowl team. The defense is they can't tackle. They can't stop the run. And there's such a problem with the depth last year's team that like they would go to be in position to make a tackle, and they just weren't good enough to like wrap up and finish it.
Yeah.
I've watched that Travis Kelce overtime TD so many times, and the guys that are on the field that are in position are gassed, and the guys that are on the field shouldn't be on the field. Like, it's a combination of I'm tired and I should be on the practice squad. And that is not going to be the issue, I don't feel like, this year.
Yeah, I only watched that play once and never watched it again, but I do remember him running by Trey Marshall, him running by Tavon Campbell and him running by another like Alohi Gilman or somebody, and it's like
Tranquil dove out at his legs and was almost there for the tackle, and it was just like Kelsey's running in slow motion. He's tired too. Like he just wants to get to the end zone and pelvic thrust or whatever the hell he does.
I knew when they won the coin toss, I was like, we're probably losing this game because I saw the way the team was in the fourth quarter. The defense was absolutely gassed. They could not chase these guys around any longer with the guys that we had. It was a mess that game. But yeah, I do agree that was a turning point for us. That was that losing that game. We gave them 10 free points in the beginning of the game, and we gave them like 14 or 21 free points at the end of the game. Added up. I mean, that's all their points in a 35-34 win or 35-32, whatever it was.
Yeah, that was a real soul crusher.
Anyways, then we have KC. We already know what that is every single year. Both KC games inside the first 12 weeks. That's interesting. Are the NFL schedule makers trying to set up maybe a KC LA AFC championship heading where it's like, hey, they haven't played each other in like 3 months at this point, and now they're going to play each other again. They're both completely different teams, but we'll see about that. But then there's the Arizona, of course, Vegas in December there, Miami, Tennessee, Indy. We play a couple of teams that we don't see as often. What do you think about this stretch right here, Tony? I'll let you go first because I don't really have thoughts to give at the moment.
So this end part here is clearly the toughest stretch of the schedule, right? Because I could make an argument for every one of these teams that we play on the bottom half of the schedule being 10-win football teams, right? You could easily say that the 49ers are back in a 10-win team, and it's the Chiefs, the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, it's going to be an interesting thing because they have so much chaos that people aren't talking about. Hopkins is going to be out for 10 games, and Kyler Murray, I mean, we saw the social media team, how dirty they did him in that video, right? I mean, he's already said, if I don't get money, I'm not showing up. So then we have more issues there. The Dolphins, how are things going to work out with Tua? But they've loaded up pretty nicely. They should be a team that should be able to stack some wins. I mean, they get 2 games against the Jets. That helps out right there. So, I think all of those teams down that stretch are going to be tough. And heading in, that's when we're really going to see, one, has the team been able to stay healthy, and has the ability of this defense really taken over? Because I think that's the opportunity that the Chargers have this year that they haven't had in a long time, is to be known as a team that just destroys you on both sides of the football, right? They can take it away from you defensively, they can crush you, and then they can also have a 15-play drive, or they could have, a 2-3 play drive or whatever it is. Having that ability. But if your defense is not just out there 3 and outs, turnovers, short drives, forcing field goals, then down the stretch of the season, it's really tough because everybody's tired, everybody's banged up. So your defense has to be clicking, and you got to be able to you got to be able to see heading into that, going into the playoffs. Oh, this is a defense that can compete for a Super Bowl. That's the stretch of the season where it's oh, I see this. This is a Super Bowl defense. You're muted.
I don't even remember muting it. But yeah, I'm with you, especially those last maybe 4 or 5 games. Definitely the last 4 games. Tennessee, tough. Chargers struggled with run defense last year. Playing Derek Henry, they're tough. I mean, I know they don't have A.J. Brown anymore, but they drafted someone that can kind of fill his role anyways. So they're going to be just as good, maybe a little worse than last year. Indianapolis. I think Matt Ryan is an upgrade. It's right there on the fence. But I do think that Matt Ryan is an upgrade simply for the fact that he's going to manage this offense, and this offense has talent in the O-line, talent in the backfield, and now with the Alex Pierce ad, and I still think Julio Jones is going to go to Indy eventually, maybe closer to after or midway through camps. Their offense actually can be kind of scary, and they have a good defense, really complete football team. Don't got to say much about the Rams. We know what that game's going to be. That game's going to be a ton of fun. I think we got to go to that one, Tony. But that's going to be a lot of fun. And then Denver, to close the year, that could be for the division. That could be for a final wildcard spot. That could be the most important game of the year for all we know, in Mile High against the Broncos. I agree with you. We're going to find out if the Chargers are championship caliber or not in that stretch. Also, another question, Tony. This is
Yep.
going to catch you off guard maybe a little bit, but I've been thinking about this for weeks now, about making a TikTok about it. Looking at the schedule, can Justin Herbert finish with 50 total touchdowns next year?
Yes. This isn't going to catch me off guard at all. Yes, he can. He
think
had
so.
40-something last year between rushing and passing. And I think that this defense gets more turnovers for him this year than last year's did. I think this defense gives him more short fields than last year's did. Juan,
And
don't come in here trying to rain on our parade. Get out of here. Go
Heard
go
you guys
put
only have 7
silver
home
and
games.
black dust on, get your booby tassels, and head to Vegas. Get out of here.
We're a good road team anyway, Juan. Bad news. But it's going to be interesting. We're probably a good road team because we're used to playing on the road a lot. Doesn't really impact us as much.
I think that shows the heart of your football team.
Exactly.
Also, I just want to last thing on the what's going on, Adam.
Hello. Bolt up.
I want to say the last thing. I really like the Spiller pickup for a game like the one in Denver at the end of the year, right? If they can figure out the right side of the offensive line and be able to bring somebody in and say, hey, this might be one of those bad weather. It's snowy, it's windy, it's cold. We need you to carry the ball 18 to 20 times and get 100 yards. And that's why you bring in a back like that. Now, the deeper I dive in on Spiller, they talk about ball security, and that's been kind of freaking me out the last couple days, but I'm going to stay positive that the young kid's going to figure it out because the blitz protection in the videos I looked at looks good enough for a rookie. Obviously, it can always improve, but
He compared his game to AP. Maybe he'll have AP like production, so that way we can kind of turn the other way at the ball security issues like AP.
you definitely have to have that player for that game. Like it is going to Buffalo, going to Carlos with the win. You have to have that guy that can go to Buffalo, can go to a cold Cincinnati on the road and put the game away. That's what we need. And that's what I think. Spiller, it's the final week of the season. You're young. You will have shared the workload with Eckler all season. That'll be your game to shine. That'll be your game to say, hey, you guys stole me in the 4th round, and I'm going to go put 120 on the Broncos, and we're going to go to the playoffs.
What do you mean it's this season for Herbert? Herbert had 45 touchdowns, 5,300 yards last year, less than 15 turnovers. Last year was his year. He's already broken out. There is no breakouts, but he's talking about Fez, his co-host over at Petty Sports. Not a fan of Herbert. I can see why. Herbert's 2 worst games of his career have both been against the Patriots, and Fez is a Patriots fan, so that's the only time that he's probably sat and watched Herbert for an entire game. Go tell him to put on the tape from the Raiders' final Week 18 game that we lost in a loss.
And I got some for famous fees too. For fees, I got some things I need to update with him too. I haven't been on Instagram in a long time, but he was in there talking some smack about Matthew Stafford and said he would never win a Super Bowl. So I don't really trust famous fees evaluations at quarterback because he was spoiled with Tom Brady for so long. Everybody else is garbage in his mind. He didn't watch Justin Herbert enough last year. He didn't.
Go if you want to talk about Brady also, go look at the Herbert versus Brady showdown a couple years ago as a rookie going toe-to-toe with the GOAT.
Yeah,
actually was up on the GOAT.
Went toe-to-toe with Drew Brees in prime time. Like, there is no back down from him whatsoever. There's no freeze. There's no deer in the headlights. Herbert's the real deal. 2nd year in this offense. Gerald Everett's going to be a nice added component to this. You bring in Zion, they figure out the right side of the line. I don't want to hear anybody's garbage. Mike, you go ahead and make your TikTok about 50 touchdowns, and I will support it. Shout from the rooftops. Did Matt? Nice.
I also think that being in this offense for 2 straight years is going to help him a ton too. Fun fact about Herbert. Also talking about good games and squaring off against good quarterbacks. Every Mahomes and Herbert game has gone over 50 points scored and has been within 1 possession, and they both have beat each other already. Also, Herbert has never spent in his football career, high school, changed offensive coordinators, changed offenses every year. College, changed offensive coordinators or head coaches and changed offenses every year. NFL, rookie year with Anthony Lynn, second year with Staley and Joe Lombardi. Second year in a row for the first time in Herbert's life where he doesn't have to spend any time learning. It is all execution this next year.
Yeah. It's like a military kid who never had any friends. And now he's finally staying on the same base for 2 years. And he gets to go and he's like, hey, Tommy, let's go. Let's play. Let's build a tree fort.
Let's go all the way. Let's see. So if y'all miss the playoffs, Staley will be out because we all know we ain't talking about this right now. We'll talk about this.
No, not going there. Not doing it. Staley's vibe is too positive, and the vision of the team is put together so nicely. I can't.
Did you see both references in the schedule release video also? One, he was like standing there and the fourth down marker's right behind him and he's like pointing at the players. Then the other one is Andy Reid like sweating and it's like fourth down and then he hits the button through the glass. Go for it. Oh man, it's funny now that we look back at it. In the moment it wasn't. All right, guys, here's one last look at the schedule. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Tony, you ready to wrap it up? We just passed 30 minutes.
Yes, I am. I appreciate everybody for coming in. This is, like Juan said, one of just the biggest tease days of the year. We have no idea what's going on. We have no idea the health of any of these things, but it is fun as a fan to speculate and pick out which games you might like to go. Am I in that Dolphins Titans game there? And I don't know. I really want to go to the opener against the Raiders. Like, I just want to be there in my fresh press Josh Palmer jersey, JP5. It's already ordered. It's on back order. I'm assuming because so many people want Josh Palmer jerseys after the video that I put out on our YouTube. You can scroll back. It's a couple videos ago. You can see it. Minute 40 seconds of this man dusting the NFL. 4th and 21 on the Raiders. Suck it! But I don't got much to say, Mike. I'm ready to go when you are.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll probably be at every single game that I can possibly be at. You know me. I'm a little bit of a menace, a little bit of a troll, and I got to be there in person to see it every once in a while, especially week one. I appreciate everyone for tuning in also, except for the Raiders fans. We'll see you guys next week here on the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. Friday nights is our normal time, so everyone be here on Friday night at around 5 p.m. We'll be live once again. If you're not already subscribed to all the channels, subscribe to the Warzone Sports Network YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. See you guys later. Bolt up. Here's your schedule. One last glimpse at it.
It's Herbert. Let me talk to Adam. You can fade out. Adam, the answer is Herbert over Kyler, and it's not even close. It's not even a conversation, my friend.
Why is he even talking about Herbert or Kyler?
That's what he put up there. And he's like, answer me. He's like, he's demanding answers.
Herbert probably had put up more numbers last year than Kyler's put up in his career probably so far. Pretty close. Got to be pretty close.
Doesn't stay healthy. Be over the steering wheel.
I had a one-liner, but I forgot what it was. Let's see if it comes to me.
Say whatever you want.
It's not coming to me.
Oh, he's saying this is the major debate.
Oh, I remember what it was now, but now it's super like under. I way overhyped this. Let's talk about something else for 1 second. What do you say? This is a major debate between him. You better be defending Herbert, Adam. You better be defending Herbert. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm gonna give you my one-liner. It's gonna suck. See you guys at training camp.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
Don Coryell.